Welcome everyone to Seipold Field in Highland, Indiana. It's the Highland Trojans 4-0 and the Calumet Warriors 4-0. Also a big Lake Athletic Conference matchup. Of course, Lake Calumet from the blue division and Highland from the black division. And I tell you what, Chris, under the circumstances which this game is being brought to us, it was a great opening ceremony. America the Beautiful was aired here, and then Brianna Meter, a Highland High School senior, just made a fabulous poem that everyone was very touched by.
Incredibly touching, just stirring up all kinds of emotions in everybody here. It's been a tough week for everybody in America. I'm glad to see the kids out on the field tonight, and it's time to play ball.
Well, Chris, you know what? As much as we can do, to try to, when people are watching this game, when it's taped, if it takes their mind off what's going on in the country, that's, it's a good thing that's what we want to do. So tonight, all these high school kids that's out here tonight are going to go ahead and do what they do best, and they're going to play football. And we're just glad to be here to be covering it right now.
And they should just go out there and do their thing, which is play ball tonight. We can see across the way, not many Calumet fans there, but the ones that are holding a candle here before the start of the game. It should be a good one, Jamie. The Battle of the Unbeatens here at Highland High School, a couple of 4-0 teams. Calumet and Highland tonight. Calumet really hasn't been tested. I think this will be their biggest test anyway so far, let's put it that way. Highland with a couple of close games in the last 2 weeks, one by a kicker, Chris Johansson, who's not going to be here today.
Yes.
And that, of course, is, when you look at that, Jamie, it's directly related because of the in New York this week.
Exactly. Chris Johansson not here tonight kicking. Of course, people know that he's won a couple games for Highland. I guess I'm pretty sure the last 2 games he's won for them. And he went to Maine. He had to drive to Maine for his sister's wedding, of course, because of tragedy, no flights, and he had to be there. So he will not be here tonight. But Highland 4-0, Chris. They are ranked number 4 in the coaches poll, but a little different in the AP. They're number 11.
That's been a big discrepancy between those 2 polls all season, Jamie.
And Calumet, they come in number 14 in the AP. So it's going to be a game which, of course, DeMario Campbell, the top rusher in all Northwest Indiana. He is number 5 in the state in scoring and rushing. He's rushed for 755 yards this year, 13 touchdowns. He's going to be, DeMario Campbell will be wearing number 21 tonight, 10-yard average. It's incredible.
10.5 yards. The ironic thing about that, Jamie, that's actually down from what he averaged last year, which was about 11 yards a carry. He had 1,800 yards plus on about 173 carries. He's been just phenomenal. I don't know that he's played a defense yet that's quite as good as Highland, so it should be interesting as we get ready for kickoff here.
And Zach Cook, of course, will be the man to watch on offensively, but right now, Highland, they will get the ball first. Calumet will kick off. Highland will be on offense.
And blue and gold uniforms with the white numbers. Of course, Calumet with the traditional red and white white jersey tonight.
And kick off for Calumet. It's going to number 71, and of course, that is Scott Kelly.
Well, at least it could be.
Oh, no, he's right. We
got a couple of rosters here, yeah.
A couple different sets of numbers given to us, but we got it right.
There's the kickoff.
And there's the kick. It's taken and dropped. Chabalski, and I believe Highland's got it back, though.
It looked like it. Can't tell exactly yet who came up with that. See, number 60 comes out of the pile last. He must be the guy with the ball. And that, of course, for the Highland Trojans, Jamie, is Mark Popovich, a 5'9", 180-pound
so Highland
junior.
So Highland will start on offense, 1st and 10.
Calumet's
from
offense,
the 28.
which we'll talk about in a little bit later, has been fantastic. But it looks to be a good matchup on both sides of the ball.
Brandon Siska, the senior 6'3", 195-pound quarterback. And he's going to hand the ball off over the left side. Plenty of room. Zach Cook. And Zach Cook's got first down yardage past the 40-yard line, gain of 12.
All kinds of room out there. Brett Bush, one of the offensive linemen, opened up a gaping hole. Got some help from his buddies. And
yes.
Number 23, of course, Zach Cook, Highland's leading rusher, was able to take advantage.
And you see the Highland offense, Siska, Nadelberg, the fullback, Chobowski, and Zach Cook.
Zabalski, I believe, is how that's pronounced according to our great Highland Mafia in here. Is that right, Zabalski, Coach?
1st and 10.
Zabowski.
And there's the handoff, and a gain of about 4 yards on the play.
Jeff Perrone out there, one of the running backs for Highland, it looked like, if I got that right. Was that 36 back there, or was that 38 Brian Pennington back in the lineup? was Brian Pennington. Of course, Brian missed about a game and a half.
There's the offensive wide receivers, Childers, Miller, and Zitrick and Fahrenkopf. We'll get the rest of the line in a second. 2nd and 6. Siska, hand the ball off. Cook over the left side. He's got plenty of room. First down yard. Now he's off to the 40, close to the 40. We'll call it the 43.
DeMario Campbell had him at the line, Jamie, but he was able to bust loose. You're not going to be able to arm tackle Zach Cook around here, and that's what happened there. A big hole. Once again, the left side of the offensive line for Highland opening up huge holes.
And, of course, the right side we didn't get to yet. Bush, Shive, and Kincaid.
And a rookie so far, the Highland front 5.
So here come the Trojans. 1st and 10 from the 43. Chabowski with the handoff. He goes around, and it's going to be taken down after a 3-yard gain. 2nd down and 7.
That's Aaron Zaboski there. We'll get that name right before the end of the night, I promise. It's a little tough. There's a couple of them actually out there for Highland. Brothers, I'm assuming. Is that right, Coach?
And
They're twins, actually, according to Coach Hupp.
You see the linemen for Calumet, Kirk, Rattray, and Stanley Kirk, and Robert Diaz, the right defensive end for Calumet. 2nd and 7 from the 40-yard line. Siska, the quarterback. Cook went in motion. There's a handoff over the left side. 3-yard pickup there. It's going to be 3rd down and 3.
First time Calumet's really been able to stop Highland in a couple of rushes they've had so far. That one, of course, going up the middle.
Zimmer, Kelly, Wise, Levener, the linebackers for Calumet. And Koch, Johnson, and Campbell, DeMario's got 4 interceptions. 5, Chris tells me. So he's done the job defensively, too. 3rd and 5 for the Trojans. 9:39 to go.
And, of course, William Wise, their big defensive lineman or linebacker, leads the area or leads the team in tackles.
Cook over the left side. He's got room. He's got 1st down yardage, and he's going to go ahead and be brought down at about the 27-yard line. 1st down, Trojans.
You know, I got the chance to talk to some of the Highland Mafia before the game, and they said one thing that's uncharacteristic about this team, Jamie, is their speed.
Chris, explain to everyone what
well,
it's
not an organized crime outfit. It's just a bunch of the Highland guys that we know. Former parents, coaches, neighbors, friends, etc. But they told us watch Highland speed this year, and we've seen it so far as they've been able to do what they want around that left side.
Chabowski and Pennington in the backfield for the Trojans. Pennington with the handoff, goes straight through the middle, 1st down, and he's going to have a touchdown. Brian Pennington, touchdown, 28 yards out, and the Trojans lead 6-0.
Great job by Brian Pennington, the fullback, straight up the middle, and if Calumet can't stop that tonight, Jamie, this game's going to be over in a hurry. Great job by the Highland offensive lineman up front, but nonetheless, once the fullback's downfield, somebody's got to make a tackle. He's not a halfback. He's not he's not putting moves on anybody, and there was a couple of missed tackles out there, and I'm sure Ivan Zimmer's going to talk to his team about that.
Now, Bobby Lewis was supposed to be kicking tonight, and I don't see Bobby out there right now, so
looks like Ricky.
Bobby Lewis is. That is Bobby Lewis, number 15.
Bobby
he
Lewis.
is kicking.
Yes, it is.
He did a little kicking last year, Coach tells me, and he's got the extra point up and good. So with 9:06 to go, it's the Highland Trojans 7, the Calumet Warriors nothing. Now, Chris.
Similar to last week, Jamie.
Well, you know, the thing about this Highland score, they go down on Calumet. Calumet is the #1 ranked defense in the LAC. They're #1 ranked against the rush. They've only given up 61 yards. Now, let's make sure everyone knows that Calumet really hasn't gone through the toughest part of anyone's schedule to date. They've played some teams which River Forest, who's a good team, North Newton, Roosevelt, Knoll. So you have to be honest when you say they're 4-0. This is a big game for them.
This is the biggest game on their schedule so far. And, you know, if anybody can remember history, of course, last year Calumet was 4-0 before Highland took them down on Ridge Road 14-13 in a great ball game.
And then, of course, both teams, even since Highland lost that game, they went on to lose 5 straight to end the season. And the Calumet lost, I believe, 5 out of their last 6. So it is a big turning point for either team.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Jamie, the last 2 years Calumet was undefeated when Highland came in and stopped them. So we'll see how that situation develops tonight. But so far, we've got just less than 3 minutes into the ball game. We've got a touchdown already.
Well, Bobby Lewis will kick it off.
Bobby also does the punting for this ball club, I believe.
Maurice Johnson, the deep man in the middle for Calumet. And there's a return all the way up to about the 25-yard line.
53 out there. John Fenchick, 5'7", 150-pound sophomore out on the tackle. Great job as he busted through the wedge, Jamie.
9 minutes to go in the first quarter. Highland with the 7-0 lead, and we're going to get our look at the Calumet Warriors offense this year. What an offense they've had.
Yeah, leading offense in the area. DeMario Campbell, as we told you at the top of the broadcast, at 755 yards.
You see Kurek, the quarterback, doesn't have to do much. Diaz, Campbell, the 5'9" senior, that's the man you want to watch, and Maurice Johnson. 1st and 10 for Calumet. They have a double wing offense, which you'll see all night long. Campbell will get the fake. Well, no, they gave the handoff first. We got to be aware of this. This is number 23, Johnson, on a carry.
Well, after getting faked out last week several times, Jamie, I think we're ready for just about anything this week. DeMario Campbell, of course, is going to be the workhorse. Expect to see him get the ball most of the night.
See the rest of the offense for Calumet. Koch, Brown, Alanis, Kelly. And you see Kusick, Wise, and Kurek. That is the front line blocking for DeMario Campbell. 2nd down and 7. And there's the pitch. There's Campbell. He's going to go across the right side, and he's going to be taken down way over on the top of your screen.
It was Bobby Lewis who originally got the initial hit there. Was there a fumble over there?
And it was a fumble, and Highland's got it back. So the Highland Trojans, you see Campbell was stood up.
Stood up by Lewis. A great job. Who's also doubling as a kicker tonight and a punter.
Matt Hassler, I'm told, Dave Miller with us up here in the booth. He tells us that was the man who recovered the fumble.
It's good to have
Trojans.
It's good to have the professor in the house. Yes, it is. The former voice of a once proud local radio giant.
Siska brings the Trojans up, 1st and 10 from the Calumet 33. Back to pass, Siska goes. In trouble, he's going to be taken down. Number 16, first one there. Andy Zimmer, I believe that was, as our numbers are right.
Andy Zimmer, one of the leading tacklers for Calumet, as the pocket just caved in there, Jamie. Don't know if Highland quarterback was quite ready for that or not, but it did look like he had an opportunity to throw the ball away. I'm sure Brad Smith would like to see him do that next time.
So 2nd and 21 for the Highland Trojans.
Great push by the front four there for Calumet on that one. I'm going to apologize ahead of time if I screw up any of the Calumet names. I'm not sure what my roster tells me.
Nadelborg, the fullback. Zach Cook, the tailback. They fake. Back to pass Siska. Now he throws it, picked off. Picked off by number 71, Scott Kelly, and he takes it back a few yards. So Calumet gets the ball right back, and they'll take over 1st and 10 near the about the 42-yard line.
Scott Kelly, a linebacker, number 71, as we see the replay here, just stepped in. He was actually in the right place at the right time. The ball came right to him, and good enough hands there. I don't know if the quarterback for Highland didn't see him or not on that one, but as he dropped back in coverage, he was standing there all by himself.
Well, Sister, a lot of pressure there. Now 1st and 10 for the Warriors. Campbell in motion. He faked the pitch. Now he give inside to Johnson. He's pushed back.
There is a flag on the play. Let's go ahead and see what that is.
Sean Childers made the hit.
Thrown in the area where Brian Pennington was being hounded by someone from Calumet.
And it is holding against Calumet. That's going to push him back 10.
That's not what you want if you're Ivan Zimmer. Your offense has struggled a little bit here tonight. Obviously, a turnover on, I believe, the first play, or second play, rather.
Well, the Calumet.
And now you're going backwards.
And the Calumet offense, number 1 defense, number 1 offense. It's a team you expect to score a lot of points, but not when you're going backwards.
Both teams have been pretty confident on offense so far this year. You know, if you look at the area statistics, both teams have done a pretty good job. Of course, Calumet primarily, and I don't want to put anybody down from the rest of the team, but let's face it, they're primarily being carried so far by DeMario Campbell.
High formation backfield for Calumet. Give the Campbell over the right side, trying to get some room, and he's going to be cut down. So far, Highland early. Very good job of stopping the run.
Well, I had a little problem with the handoff between Kurek and DeMario Campbell, it looked like, and it kind of slowed that play up a little bit.
Brian Pennington on the tackle.
That's probably a name we'll call a lot on both sides tonight. Brian, of course, tore some ligaments in his left knee earlier in the year. Ended up missing a game and a half before coming back. and he is definitely one of the leaders of this Highland team.
Well, 2nd and 20, Calumet, not a spot they like to be in. Long yardage situations when you don't pass the ball a lot. Now back to pass Kurek. He's going to throw it, batted up in the air, and incomplete. So it's going to bring 3rd and long now as Adam Kurek is only throwing the ball coming to this game 17 times this year, Chris. 6 completions.
Yeah, they obviously don't throw the ball much. Calumet never really has. Looks like it hit the helmet of Billy Fahrenkoff on that one.
And you see the Highland defense: Shive, Fahrenkoff, Hassler, and Bush. And the linebacker, Zach Cook, Brian Pennington, we've called his name a couple times, Brian Miller, and the defensive backs, Childers, Euclid Bach, and Bobby Lewis. 3rd down and 20 for the Warriors. Campbell in motion, they pitch to him. Campbell trying to get around the end, and right away, number 3 for Highland, that's Brett Bach, comes up and makes the stop, and Highland's going to have good field position as Calumet's going to have to punt it.
An odd formation, I think, Jamie, on a 3rd and 20. Everybody bunched in on the line right there. I think everybody knew exactly what was going to happen on that. Not a lot of imagination, and not really anywhere for DeMario Campbell to run on that one.
Of course, Chris, we haven't mentioned this. Of course, Brad Smith, the coach of the Highland Trojans, 6th year with Highland, 36 and 21. We'll talk more about him in a second as the punt's off.
End over ender. Tough
and
to handle, yep.
Holds on, but he's got it at the 36. Now, Coach Brad Smith started at Crown Point for many years. He was a coach over there, and now he's come to Highland. This is his 7th year. He's going to go ahead and step down after this year as he is the athletic director, and he's going to do that full time.
I was warned not to make any duck calls, which, of course, I wouldn't anyway, but that's besides the point. I just want to thank Brad Smith for all he's done for me in the year and a half I've been covering local sports. He is an outstanding stand-up guy.
1st and 10 from Highland's own 36-yard line. Pennington and Cook in the backfield. Hand to Cook over to the left side. He bounces off one tackle and then finally taken down.
Fumble.
And another fumble on the play. And let's see, does Calumet have it? And they do. Coming up with the ball is number 16, and that was Andy Zimmer.
That's Andy Zimmer, one of the names from Calumet we'll call a lot. He was in the right place at the right time. Hard work didn't pay off for Highland that time as we see Zach Cook break 2 or 3 tackles, bounce off a bunch of tacklers on that play, but unfortunately puts the ball down on the ground. And we've got our 3rd turnover already, Jamie, in about 6.5 minutes of play.
5:24 to go in the 1st quarter, and 7-0. Highland leads. Calumet with the ball. Ball spotted at the 40-yard line of Highland.
At this rate, we're not going to see much offense.
Double wing set behind Kurek. Campbell gets the carry around the end, trying to get around. And once again, big play. Brett Bach comes up from his defensive back position and makes the stop.
Outstanding play. Just came up to the line of scrimmage. Looked like he knew where DeMario Campbell was going to be the whole time. And DeMario tried to bounce off him on that one, but Bach did a great job of holding onto his jersey and bringing him to the ground.
Well, Brett Bach, a 5'10", 175-pound sophomore only. And, of course, Highland, they took it on a chin last year, basically, during the season. Not a good year for them. They've come back strong so far, starting out 4-0, as Calumet has.
Well, a program like Highland isn't going to stay down for too long.
And there's a reverse. Campbell goes back, and he's going to be taken down once again. And is that Bach again?
Might have been Zach Cook, and there comes Bach out of there. Last one out of the pile. Calumet trying to do something here to spark their offense, but they're really telegraphing. At least it looks that way from here, and it appears that way from the Highland side. They're really telegraphing their play so far.
3rd and 15 for the Warriors. They have yet to get anything going at all. Highland puts them back into long yardage situations.
Well, Calumet has done anything. I don't want to get into second guessing already, but I'd like to see them spread their offense out a little bit. As we can see, they're all bunched up again here.
Campbell and Johnson on the wings. Now Campbell in motion, gets the handoff to Mario over the right side. He's got plenty of room, and he's got some yardage, but it was short of 1st down. Tackle in there for Highland by Zach Cook amongst many.
Still a Highland guy on the bottom of the pile. That's Pennington, who's going to probably receive credit on that tackle. Brian Pennington, their middle linebacker, we've talked about.
Big play for Calumet, Chris. 4th and 7. It looks like they're going to elect to go for it here. And, you know, when you don't have a passing team, you know, Highland knows what's coming. It's going to be the rush. Just can they stop it? From the 37-yard line, big play early in the game. Campbell in motion. Fake, Kirk rolls. Looks, and he throws it. It's going to be picked off. And that was Zach Cook on the interception, and he goes to about the 30-yard line.
Actually, it's Ryan Zabowski, 29, I think, that picked that off, isn't it? Right. Great job. Questionable throw, of course, by the quarterback. Looked like he had some trouble with the ball in his hand before he released it. Might have been better off just to try to heave that one out of bounds and live to fight another play. But then again, it was fourth down anyway, Jamie. So what do you really lose?
Yeah,
you might actually have picked up a few yards for him.
Right.
On that.
If you're going to punt it, you might, you're going to punt it anyway. Just throw it downfield. Actually, Highland, they could have knocked it down.
It's not going to look good in the stat book for him. Apologize for my mic here. My sound is going up and down.
Pennington in the backfield. Siska hands the Pennington straight up the middle, and he's going to be hit right away.
Let's see who came out of the pile there. For players over there.
Number 63, William Wise.
And that's the name that you're going to hear. He comes in with 35 tackles into the ball game, one of the leading tacklers in the entire North Carolina area. Plays out both sides of the ball, does a spectacular job. Of course, Calumet doesn't have the big guys up front like they had last year, Jamie. Of course, a couple of huge players last year who have gone on.
Split backfield behind Siska. Shabolski around the near side. And he's taken down right there. After about a gain of 2 or so, tackle made by number 22, which we don't have a name on unless you do, Chris.
22, I've got David Koch here.
There we go, David Koch, you're right.
A 5'9", 105-pound senior.
Amongst the many changes of rosters just before game time of numbers.
Calumet apparently with 2 jerseys, a home and away jersey with some different numbers, so try to bear with us on that.
Cook and Pennington in the backfield behind Siska. Fake, Siska back to pass. Throws it deep down the sideline. And Childers, does he have it? No. Running around the side, Childers, the leading receiver for Highland this year, and Highland's going to have to punt.
Childers started to get some separation. DeMario Campbell was the guy in coverage on that one. Great job by the quarterback for Highland getting the ball down there. Just a tough play. It bounced at the end. Don't know if Campbell interfere with that at all. Maybe getting his hands up or screening the receiver. But a very well thrown ball.
Andy Zimmer, Maurice Johnson will go back to receive the punt from Bobby Lewis. High snap, and just gets it off.
Well, we got a flag down here, Jamie. This is coming back.
Johnson at the 25 to the 30. Another flag, 35, and he's taken down there, but let's check 2 flags.
Forget that flag, Jamie. We're going to have roughing the kicker over here, it looked like. There was 2 or 3 guys in on the Highland kicker on that one on Bobby Lewis, so I would expect, I guess if there's a roughing, is that running into the kicker in high school? I don't know, but that looked like pretty much roughing to me, so I think they're going to pick up the 2nd flag, and Highland should get a first down out of this, but you never know.
Well, right now, the officials gathering there together and trying to figure this one out. I don't know if it was roughing the kicker, Chris. If they got any of the ball, I don't think they call it, but we'll see.
I didn't see him get any of the ball, and I did see the flag come out as 2 guys hit him. Now, of course, there's the clipping call.
Not that guy. Not that guy. Blue captain.
Now let's see what's going on
well,
here.
if that's on the return,
on this particular play,
it's still on the return to clipping, so Highland's deciding it. This one back here, yes, at the 25-yard line, there's a flag.
Now, of course, if this is going to give them a first down, they're going to take it.
And it looks like Highland offense is walking backwards, so it looks like they may still have the ball. Remember, it was 4th and 6, rather.
And they're coming back. It looks like Highland ball. I don't think they'll be. Now, is that?
Well, first you got to find out what that penalty was.
Well, it was definitely some form of running into the kicker. Now, we'll get it right now.
Yes, it was.
is accepted.
Automatic first down on running into kicker.
The clipping against Calumet after the change of possession is
declined.
It'll be a 5-yard penalty assessed for the line
so
of scrimmage.
Penalties offset,
we'll repeat fourth
Chris,
down.
because you have a penalty against Calumet, penalty against Highland. So that means...
Well, wait a minute, you've got 2 penalties against Calumet. You've got a clip down here on the return, and you've got a roughing the punter over here. So I don't know how they could offset
they only have a first down.
One. The first one, the roughing would offset.
Somehow Highland only got 5 yards on this, so it is still, they're gonna go ahead and go for it. 4th down and 1. Because it was 4th and 6. And
Yep.
it's all going to work out for Highland, it looks like.
We'll try to figure out what was going on there. But number 63, it looked like William Wise, their leading tackler, came up.
And you look at this, Chris. Every penalty, the Calumet players, it looks like have to do a
Had to flop around the grass.
Yeah, it's kind of like a push-up type of thing there.
One
that they
push-up
do
per
during
yard.
practice. It looks that way.
Looked to me, though, like he was hit from behind. Looked like one of his linebackers might have ran into him and pushed him into the line.
I don't want to see, I hate to see that for a pass interference downfield, but it's only 15 yards, thankfully for the cornerbacks if that happens. 1st down at 10. Cook around the far side, and he goes forward for a couple yards. 2nd down and 8.
Number 27 for Calumet in on the tackle. That's Robert Diaz, 5'9", 205-pound senior. Couple other players.
Well, Chris, Highland very strong in the first quarter. I believe they have yet to give up a touchdown or a point in the first quarter, if I'm correct. So they've had good first quarters and third quarters, I might mention. It doesn't look like they're going to give up many in this quarter either. Handoff right at the middle. Pennington, 1st down yardage across the 45-yard line to the 44.
He runs like a fullback, just lumbering right up the middle, and no one can seem to get a hand on him. At this rate, he's going to have a big night for Highland. That's what they're really expecting. He's one of the leaders of this ball club, Jamie.
Well, coming in tonight, Pennington only had 22 carries for 110 yards, 5-yard average.
Keep in mind, though, everybody, he did miss 8 quarters this year due to that injury we told you about earlier, the knee injury he had. So I don't know how much he actually got last week on the ground. They didn't use him much at the fullback slot.
Siska, inside handoff, Chabowski, and he's going to go ahead and get knocked down there after a couple of yards. Number 21, Demario Campbell with the hit.
That's Aaron Zabowski, one of the brothers, a 6', 175-pound senior, coming around on kind of an end-around play.
So we're going to go with Chabowski.
Zabowski, I think, is what coach is on.
Zabowski, no C and no C-H.
No C, no L.
No
Zabowski.
C. And who better to learn this from than head coach of the Highland Lady Trojans, Chris Huppenthal, up in here in the booth with us. 2nd and 8. Inside again, Zabowski, and he's got plenty of room this time. And he's going to go to the end, 20, and maybe might go. He's going to be taken out the 15-yard line. Great run. Gain of play of about 26, 27 yards.
Nice way to end the first quarter if you're Highland.
And that is the end of the first quarter. With your score, the Highland Trojans 7, the Calumet Warriors nothing. We're going to go ahead and take a timeout. When we come back, we'll have the second quarter for you. You're watching your AT&T Game of the Week. And welcome back, everyone, to Seiple Field at Highland High School. Jamie Perko along with Chris Ramirez. 19-7 as we get set to start the third quarter. And Chris, keys to the second half now. Obviously, Demario Campbell, you know, he's got to get it going because the Calumet offense, I think they have just about as many pass plays ran as they do Demario Campbell running.
Yeah, and that's not going to work for them, Jamie. There's no question they're going to have to find a way to get Demario involved in the offense a lot more than they have in the first half. If that means getting the ball to him downfield like they almost did before the end of the half, great. But whatever they got to do, he's the key to this ball club. The offensive line's going to have to work a little bit harder to get him some running room because he hasn't had any so far. If you're a Calumet fan, hopefully they can do that.
And once again, Demario Campbell, 755 yards and a 10-yard average, 13 touchdowns on the season. So Demario Campbell is the guy who Highland is going to have to contain if they want to keep with this lead score at 19-7 right now. Now, Calumet will receive the kickoff.
Should be an interesting second half. I'm interested to see what adjustments they've made on both sides of the ball. Of course, Highland right now, Jamie, they just got to keep doing what they were doing. If they can continue to create those big holes for their running backs, they're not going to have any problem in the second half.
Kicking off will be Bobby Lewis to start off the second half. Demario Campbell will go deep, of course. Now, if Demario Campbell handles this ball, I think there'd be a lot of shocked people out here.
I think there was a lot of shocked people that he handled it the first time, and I certainly don't expect it to happen again. Dave Miller just shows me that at the half, Hammond leading, or Lowell leading Hammond right now, 21-0 in the third.
And it's going to be taken up by the up back, and that's Brandon Gales. And he goes forward.
Pretty good job of
Close
running
to
there by
33.
Gales. Didn't get going too fast on that, just followed his blockers for whatever they were going to give him, and Calumet starts in pretty decent field position, about the 32-yard line. Call it the 33.
11:50 as the opening kickoff starts us up, and I tell you what, Calumet, first drive, very important. They had a lot of momentum going at the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, they did. This is going to be a real key drive for them right now. They got to get some confidence going. We see the same kind of offense that they were running, that wing T or double wing or whatever you call it.
Kirk hands the ball off. And once again, a pile moves forward, and we'll go ahead and tell you who exactly that was.
That's 67 in there for Highland, the first guy we see coming off the pile. We've called his name a number of times. That's Billy Fahrenkopf. And, of course, he had a bunch of his buddies there with him. The pile did go forward, but really not for all that much. It looked like maybe they gained 2 yards, maybe a yard and a half on that. And the second half rather, starts a lot like the first did.
Second down and 8-4 to Calumet Warriors. Campbell and Johnson on the wings. They give it to Demario Campbell, and he's going to be pushed backwards. Number 38, that was Brian Pennington and Andy Locke in there on the tackle for Highland.
Brett Bach in there as well, number 3 for the Trojans, and gang tackling. That's what you got to do against. A team like Calumet with an offense like they have, and Demario Campbell. It's tough to bring him down one-on-one, and they haven't had to do much of that tonight. Calumet's going to have to do a better job, Jamie, and do it in a hurry of opening up some holes. He's got to have a little bit of room to run.
Well, let's see if we see that pass play to Demario Campbell, which he dropped late in the second quarter.
Demario hasn't seen any sun or any daylight since the sun went down, and that's going to have to change here in the second half. They've got to find him somewhere to run. 3rd
and 10, Johnson in motion, and he gives it a first man through, and he goes forward, and I believe that was
number 74 is one of the guys in there.
Dasinski with the carry again.
Matt Hassler, one of their leading tacklers, number 74 in on there as well, Jamie.
Dasinski with the carry.
Calumet shuffling players in and out right now. 3rd down and 10, and it's a situation that Calumet.
Fourth down and
10 rather, or 4th and 5. I'm sorry. But that's a situation Calumet's been in all night long, unable to convert the first downs.
Brett Bach, Sean Childers back to receive. Childers is going to chase it down as it hits at the 30. Childers turns it forward at the 36-yard line before he's brought down.
Number 60 is one of the guys coming up off of that pile for Calumet.
Nice tackle.
Humberto Torres.
Maurice Johnson also hustling down for Calumet.
Highland's going to start with pretty good field position themselves, about the 36-yard line.
So the Trojans come out with Brandon Siska at quarterback.
We'll see what Highland does here to open up the second half. I'm sure they're looking just to continue what happened in the first half. They continue to get those 10-foot wide holes. They're not going to have a problem here tonight.
Pennington and Cook in the I formation. Receivers left and right. Hand to Cook, goes forward, and he's pushed back right away. A couple of the Calumet Warriors hit him right away.
Yeah, a number of them, a host of them, as you like to say, Jamie, and we see a
Robert
few
Diaz,
of them.
one of them.
Yep, and he had, of course, some of his buddies as well. There was actually a hole there to open up, but, you know, the linebackers and the defensive backs did a great job of coming up and filling those holes, and that's what they're going to need to do more of here to keep Highland in a, you know, a kind of maybe a passing situation every now and then.
And, of course, William Wise, another one who's been tremendous on the line so far for Calumet. I formation, Pennington and Cook. Siska, hand to Cook once again. Read by the Calumet Warriors. And Zach's going to be taken back a few yards. First in on the play, number 17 for Calumet. That was Adam Kirk, of course, the quarterback.
And he had some help as well. Number 27 was in on the tackle for Calumet. That's Robert Diaz and a couple other guys as well. 85 we saw for Calumet in there too. And that's Brandon Davis, a 5'10", 160-pound senior.
3rd and 12 from the 35-yard line.
And so far, Jamie, those holes that we talked about in the first half have not been there.
Pennington and Cook once again behind Siska. Siska back to pass. Looks throws, got his man, and complete. I believe that's Brian Miller. First down yardage out near the 49-yard line.
Brian Miller, a big target, 6'4", 200 pounds, and great job there by Siska, the quarterback, to get him the ball. He was wide open on the far side over there. On Highland, obviously, had a little trouble running the first couple of downs, but they were able to move it in the air that time.
Brian Miller comes in the ballgame with one catch, but it was a touchdown. So now Highland opening up the passing game there, and let's see if they stay with that or go back to the running game. Cook and Pennington once again in the backfield. Zabolski in motion. And a Cook right up the middle,
Flag.
and he's hit right away with flag on the play. Number 71 hits him first for Calumet, Scott Kelly.
You know, I'm not sure, but that flag came out awful early. We could have maybe an illegal motion here. And I believe that's what he called.
And they're going to have to walk it off backwards.
Haven't had too big of a problem with penalties tonight. Did have a situation in the first half, of course, where Highland was aided on a touchdown drive by a penalty after they punted. Not exactly still sure what happened on that play.
On the offense, penalty is declined.
Calumet's going to decline it.
Second out.
Going to keep the yardage and make it a second down situation.
Somewhat surprising there.
Well, you know, is you first and 15 or second and 8? I guess they figure, you know, take the only 2-yard carry pickup, I suppose. From the 49-yard line of Calumet. Pennington, a lone setback. Zabolski in motion. Pennington, the carry. He's got some room. Goes forward. The tackle finally made by for 46 Woodard of Calumet.
Pennington, a big fullback, just put his head down right there. Didn't have a great big gaping hole on the advantage of first. And, you know, that's a situation. They put him in second and 8. They didn't have that far to go.
I tell you what, I'd like to see if the pass play will work again for Highland. Go to Childers or Miller.
Penn over for a little game. I'm that kid so far.
Siska hand to Cook. And Cook's going to stay on his feet and finally going to be taken down. Nice gain of about 6 yards on the carry.
It looks like, you know, what happened, I think, is he ran into the back of one of his own guys there, one of his own blockers, but it was able to bounce off. That's Scott Kelly down on the field right now, number 71.
Got all kicker. He doesn't look like...
he's hurting.
Yeah, he looks like he's in some pain there. We already seen one Calumet player go off to the side earlier on in the game. I don't know if we got that name or not. Number 71.
That was 74, and
74.
we never were able to get his name again. For anybody just joining, are a little confusing for us. So if we miss anybody's name or get the wrong number, we certainly apologize.
So they are officials and trainers attending to the Calumet player right now. 6:54. And Chris, next week we will be at Lowell High School. Griffith Panthers and the Lowell Red Devils, and of course that game we think it might be a very good game as far as tempers flaring and stuff. Being that last year, of course, Lowell and Griffith had the big rivalry and tough games. Lowell beat Griffith obviously early in the season and gave them their loss.
And don't forget last year. When Hammond High played at the Boneyard last year,
yep.
All Lowell players were out there cheering on Hammond in a big way, and don't think that's going to be lost on the Griffith players either. Don't think Russ Radke's not going to mention that to his team this week.
Well, the Griffith Panthers have a lot of pride. I'll tell you right now, they, as we've seen the score earlier, leading Munster tonight, 20-14 right now, and Griffith trying to prove everyone that the first couple games it was just a matter of getting used to a new quarterback without a Radke there anymore.
That's maybe had a lot to do with it. I think there was some confusion with Griffith. They were a little unsure of what kind of team they were going to be, but I expect Russ Radke to get things back on track. He's closing in on 200 wins, and he'll get that pretty soon.
And it doesn't look good for Scott Kelly.
No, it doesn't.
He's taken off with the help of his teammates, and the second player we've seen hobble over to the sideline for Calumet. Not what you like to see in any ball game, especially high school, where you see these injuries, maybe a knee or an ankle.
Well, we don't want to speculate. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, and he'll get back out there in a hurry.
Zabolski. Zabolski and Nadelberg. Now Nadelberg, the lone setback. He gets the handoff, and he goes forward for first down yardage, it looks like. Well, let's see if he might be just short. Let's see where they carry it.
It's going to be a little bit short, it looks like, Jamie.
Just a bit short. Third down and very short. They call it a yard.
You know, Calumet's doing a much better job in the second half here. Their linebackers and defensive backs are holding their ground. In the first half, Jamie, that was a first down and more. But in the second half, they've been able to adjust a little bit and make some tackles.
Siska inside handoff.
That
Cook
counter again.
trying to get around the end. He does to the 20 and then taken down just across the 15-yard line. Tackle made number 60, Humberto Torres.
Great call by Brad Smith on that one. Kind of that counter we've seen a little bit of them run so far tonight. I think a lot of people looked like Calumet's defense was bunching up to play something up the middle, but they bounced it outside on a counter. A great call, actually, by the offensive coordinator. I don't know if Brad called him or did he call the offensive plays?
I believe so.
Good call, Brad.
1st and 10 from the 16-yard line for the Highland Trojans. Already leading 19-7. And there's a handoff once again. Pennington carries a few Calumet Warriors forward.
Boy, he popped somebody, and we see somebody from Calumet getting up slow, and that's number 16. We've called his name a few times, Andy Zimmer, one of their top players, and he's holding his arm, Jamie. It looks like he doesn't want to come out, but it looks like he might stay in, but he looks like he's hurting pretty good. And Pennington, what happened on that play, Pennington put a helmet right into him and just knocked him down.
So the Trojans facing a 2nd and 8 from the 14-yard line. So Bolski in motion, fake, out inside to Zach Cook, and he's taken down right away. First on the scene, it looked like number 22, David Koch.
42 was also in there, Jamie. And let me look over my roster to find a 42, because I don't think I have one of those here for Calumet. But I'm sure if his folks are watching, they know who he is, number 42. Apologize, we don't have that number.
3rd and 11 from the 17. Big play for the Highland Trojans. Siska back to pass. He's going for the end zone and leaping and incomplete. Pass intended for number 15, Bobby Lewis.
That's Bobby Lewis, who does the punt and a lot of other things for this team. And he's covered pretty good play by the Calumet defender, which might have been Andy Zimmer on that one. I'm not quite sure. 23 is also back there. That's Maurice Johnson. Good job of coverage. The play, you know what happened, I think, is the play didn't lead the pass didn't lead the receiver enough.
4th and 11 from the 17, and Highland's going to go for it. And they want a timeout. So Highland's going to think about it right now. Of course, if Johansson was here, you might consider a field goal, but Johansson, of course, the kicker for Highland, not here to attend his sister's wedding in Maine because of the disaster that happened out in New York and Washington this past week. Of course, no flights. He had to drive out there to Maine, so he's not here. So Lewis is doing the kicking. And speaking of kicking, Chris, now Calumet, you figure they're going to have to go ahead and go for every 2-point conversion because they no longer have a kicker, as Kelly was taken off with an ankle or knee injury, and now they may have to go for a 2-point conversion every time.
And that could definitely be a factor at some point in this game. At 19-7, you know, obviously they're in a situation where, you know, 7-7, of course, puts them up. Now we're going to see a situation where they're going to have to go for the 2 points, perhaps, and that could hurt them. It could end up helping them, of course, but, you know, 2-point conversions, that's tough to convert.
And, Chris, of course, Calumet, we haven't mentioned their head coach, Ivan Zimmer, in his 6th year, 20 and 34 overall. Of course, the Calumet coach, and he's done a fine job the last few years, and you know, what can you do? Sometimes you don't have the numbers.
Yeah, Calumet, you know, they've put some good players through the system over the years, but been unable to come through with any sectional titles or anything like that. But Ivan seems to have been heading in the right direction.
Big play, 4th and 11. Siska back to pass.
Look out.
Being chased and smashed for a loss. Number 70. Wow, number 73
pass.
Came in. Harold Alanes. And just crushed Siska, and they get called an incomplete pass. I tell you what, very lucky that they called an incomplete pass because that could have been a big play for Calumet, but they get the ball back anyway because it was a 4th down.
It was a 4th down play, exactly, but great job there by number 73 on that one for Calumet, as you mentioned, and that, of course, is Harold Alanis. Just exploded, put a big hit on the Highland quarterback. And now what's going on now?
And of course, Chris, offensively for Calumet, they have all seniors on their offensive team right now coming in this year. The only sophomore in Calumet, Mike Brown, the tight end who starts. So they're going to lose everybody in offense next year. And a fake now, Johnson around the end and taken down. Nice job by number 51 for Highland. And that was C.J. Shive, the 5'11 senior, to bring him down.
Great penetration by Shive on that one. Just busted through and was able to catch him in the backfield. And, of course, tackle him for a 6-yard loss there. Not the way Calumet wants to start this drive. I really expected to see Calumet do a lot more on offense tonight, Jamie.
Well, they are deep in their own territory right now at the 11-yard line. 2nd and 16. The options, not a lot of options for Calumet here. Of course, they do. We did see them go down to DeMario Campbell down the field earlier in the ball game. Couric over center.
Flags everywhere.
And once again, a handoff inside. Handoff was to number 24, Jasinski.
But let's see what they're, Brian Pennington looking over here waving his hands. Apparently this is more than likely going to be on Calumet. And they keep walking into the end zone.
Does Highland go ahead and take this penalty? If you don't take it, it's 3rd down and long.
Well, that's going to be a tough call.
No, they're going to wave it off. They'll take the 3rd down and 16 instead of the 2nd and 22.
And why not at this point? You know what? Calumet's had trouble moving the ball and gaining positive yardage. Why give them an extra play to try to do it?
Very dangerous situation for the Calumet Warriors. They're up 19 to. They're down 19 to 7. 3:35 to go in the 3rd quarter. Huge play for the Warriors. As Couric brings them up.
Well, it's a big play. You definitely want to try to convert. Otherwise, Highland, after the punt's going to end up with a good field position again.
Now Couric rolling, throws it, and just off the fingertips.
Number 41 out there for Calumet.
That's Brandon Gales,
yes,
the intended receiver.
Yes, it is. A kind of a dangerous pass, though, Jamie, on that when he threw it against his body.
Could have been open, though.
It could have been open, but I tell you what, it could have been intercepted just as well. He didn't look like he was set at all and just winged it across the middle of the field there and just in a very, very dangerous area.
Well, you know, you give Calumet, give them credit for going ahead and going after the 1st down there. They could have just took a, run it right up the middle and take the punt, but they tried to go ahead and get some yardage.
You see a couple of guys back now for Highland. We see number 3 back there, which is Brett Bach, and number 5, of course, Sean Childers, and they're inside their own 40, Jamie,
well,
to
Andy
receive the punt.
Zimmer punts it away. It's going to be taken back, and at the 35 to 30, and then he's brought down there. Johnson, I believe, on the tackle once again for Calumet, Maurice Johnson.
Number 23, Johnson, exactly. A gutsy play there by number 3, Brett Bach. He could have let that roll, but decided to pick it up, and good thing for him and for Highland that nothing bad happened on that one. He actually ended up picking up a few yards, and Highland's going to start this drive, Jamie, at its own 30-yard line.
Once again, looks like a penalty on the field.
We've got a roughing the kicker call, it looks like here, and that's why we see players coming back on the field. I did not see that. I was waiting for the return. I don't know if we've got a replay on that or not.
So roughing the kicker, and this time it goes against Highland. We've already seen Calumet do it. So that's going to give Calumet a new life. 19 to 7 is what the score is.
Well, you know what, Jamie? They still have a long way to go, of course, to get this ball in the end zone. But, you know, plays like that will drive a coach crazy.
Well, it's not an automatic 1st down, though. It must have been running into the kicker instead.
But it's definitely going to change the field position, as we can see, Jamie.
And Childers backs away from it as it bounces at 43.
Instead of Highland having the ball at the Calumet 30, they're going to have it not in bad field position, but certainly not as good. It's going to start here at their own 43-yard line.
Well, of course, you know, roughing the kicker, 15 yards, running into the kicker, 5. So that's why you don't have a 1st down.
You know, I got to be honest with you, Jamie, that's something that I've never understood. The difference between running into and roughing. If you run into the kicker, you run into the kicker.
I think they mean if they think that you did it purposely, then that's roughing. If you did it as you were pushed into
so it's a judgment call.
Yeah, exactly. It is a judgment call. So 1st and 10 for the Highland Trojans at the 43. 2:55 to go in the 3rd. They lead 19 to 7. Handoff. Cook trying to get around the corner, and he's got some room. And Maurice Johnson makes a tackle there. I'll tell you what, Very tough for the Highland Trojans to break away from this Calumet secondary when you got Campbell and Johnson back there.
Well, you know what, though, Jamie, they're playing so far back. I mean, Cook ran 15 yards before anybody touched him. He had absolutely no one around him on that play. And the Calumet defense, the defenders, the secondary, they just basically waited for him to show up before they decided to make a tackle. And at some point, you're going to go have to go up and meet the ball carrier.
Left side of the line, Zerkic and Fahrenkopf, and Bruce Bush, the center. Nice job on that play. 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. First down and 10 for the Trojans. Hand off Pennington straight up the middle, and he's just going to take a few Calumet Warriors with him, and he gets near a first. And welcome back, everyone, to Highland High School, Seifold Field, as Jamie Perkle and Chris Ramirez bring you to fourth quarter action. You see Highland up 19-7. The Highland Trojans 4-0, Calumet Warriors 4-0. Highland number 4 in the coaches poll. Big discrepancy from the AP poll, which they're number 11, but Calumet comes in at 14 in the AP. So Calumet getting some votes, and right now they're in trouble. They got their backs to the wall.
You got that right, Jamie. 12 minutes to go. Highland driving right now for another score, which would put them up at least 25-7, and it's going to be awful tough for a running team that can't run to come back.
3rd and 6, Calumet shows blitz. Inside handoff, Zach Cook. Cook goes, and he's going to be near a first down. Might be just short.
They've ran that play several times tonight, and it seems every time Calumet's had a little bit of trouble recognizing it. And it's kind of surprising because they ran it so many times this evening.
Well, you want to talk about the key play in the game for Calumet. Here it is, 4th and 2 from the high, called a long 2, actually 2.5, from the 15-yard line. The Calumet Warrior defense, number 1 in the LAC, they're going to have to come up big here. Siska over center. Over the right side, straight through,
Pennington.
First down yardage. And Brian Pennington is the man. Of course, Chris, you called it. I mean, this guy has run straight through the middle without any stop, stuttering steps, or whatever. He's a power runner, and he got him the yardage there.
Yeah, and great foot speed as we talked about. I mean, right there, he really turned it on when he got about 2 or 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. Just put his head down, got his feet and his legs churning. And I tell you, he is really, really something. And Highland, I tell you what, they got to be glad to have this kid back in the lineup.
1st and goal from the 5-yard line for the Trojans. Pennington.
Fumble.
And a fumble on the ground, and looks like Calumet's got it.
I don't know that Pennington ever really had that ball. There was a little exchange right there. Big break for the Calumet Warriors. A little trouble on the exchange, I should say. Big break for the Calumet Warriors because the way it looked, they weren't going to be able to stop Calumet going into that end zone. But as it is, Calumet's got the ball now. And let me see what the
62, and we don't have a 62 on our roster, Chris.
Is that another name we don't have? 62?
Yes, it is.
Well, number 62 on the recovery for the Calumet Warriors on that one.
Oh, the Warriors.
Also saw 60, Humberto Torres in there.
The Warriors coming back. 10:51 to go in the ball game. Keurig over center. Now he's going to option the right side. He's going to be taken down right away. Number 74 for the Trojans, Matt Hassler, the 5'11 senior, in on a tackle.
Good job by Hassler on that play as he shedded the block there and stayed with the ball carrier. And Calumet, though, you know, here a gain of 5 yards. That's actually been one of their bigger runs tonight. It seems that Highland's been able to stop them almost at will at the line of scrimmage tonight. But you know what? With 10 minutes to go, 5 yards a pop, it's not going to get it done. It's a good start for Calumet on the drive. They're in a 2nd and 5 situation instead of a 2nd and long.
From the 12-yard line, big drive for Calumet. Another option play off to the right side, and some running room there. Can't see if that was Campbell or Johnson. It was DeMario Campbell.
It was Campbell, you know, and he ended up getting some yards on his own there, put his team in a 3rd and short. But again, the Calumet play on offense is very slow developing, and they're having all kinds of trouble. The penetration of the Highland front 4 is really disrupting things.
3rd and 1 for the Warriors. Clock ticks under 10 minutes to go. The clock definitely an enemy of the Calumet Warriors right now. Campbell in motion. And I believe they might have got it to Dasinski once again.
Once again.
First down.
Yeah, we've used his name or called his name a few times tonight. They kind of ran Campbell there as a decoy on that play, but they did a good job of busting through up the middle there for a first down, and that's what Calumet needs to do. But you know what? They can't take a minute and a half to get 10 yards every time down the field. I'd like to see him try to open it up a bit, or who knows, maybe DeMario Campbell will bust one, but it's what's going to happen for them to get back in the ball game.
Campbell the lone setback. Keurig pitch to Campbell.
Look
trying to get around
quickness.
Childers, and he does. Campbell spin move, still on his feet, and now he goes out of bounds there. So nice run by Campbell. That's the DeMario Campbell we've heard about, and they're going to spot it about 3 yards short of a first down. So call it 2nd and 3.
We haven't had other really, Jamie, than the return that he had, the 95-yard touchdown return. We haven't seen really a lot of DeMario Campbell's quickness, and you'll see it right here as he just goes right around Childers for Highland.
And you see DeMario Campbell stayed in bounds to try to maybe get some more yardage, but then he finally went out. Smart move by him.
Give you an
9:08.
idea of how quick he is. You know, Childers is one of the quickest guys on the Highland team.
Once again, handoff inside, and that was Dzinski.
Following his blockers, number 57, Matt Wincoop, led the way on that one. Calumet now in a 2nd and 3 situation, or
Right now, Calumet, third
and
down
1.
and about, call it a yard and a long yard, I would say. So the Warriors, once again, have to convert this third down to keep the drive going and probably the game.
A very methodical drive at this point.
Keurig, option, far side, pitch to Campbell, got first down yardage and more as he's going to be thrown out of bounds all the way across the field by number 15, Bobby Lewis.
I think we got a face mask over there. It looked like somebody got Campbell's mask as he was going by, and there is indeed a flag, 2 flags maybe on the far sideline over there. So look for this to be a face mask on Highland.
Well, that might have been the only way they're going to take him down. And here's the
Again,
replay.
here you can see his quickness, his great moves and agility. Look at that move.
Yeah,
and there's the face mask right there.
Oh, Bobby. He got caught with that one. It was kind of obvious, I guess, but hey, if you're going to save a touchdown, that's okay. First down and 10 yards to go for the Calumet Warriors. This drive has started way back in Highland territory, in Calumet territory, rather. Now they've brought it out to the 44-yard line, but the problem here is they're taking about a minute and a half every single 3-down series. So they've got to get a little bit quicker coming up to the line and getting their plays called.
Yeah, I mean, they've had the ball for over 2 minutes on this drive, Jamie, and they've gotten 2 first downs. Now, obviously, you know, your first concern is this drive, but they've got to look at the clock and think they're going to have to do more than what they're doing right now.
Handoff right away to Dzinski, and he's brought back maybe a loss of 1 yard on a play. Interesting
That's
setup.
Hassler in there again on the tackle.
Interesting setup on that play. They had Zimmer in the backfield. Andy Zimmer was in the eye.
Well, Zimmer's a good athlete. He does a lot of things for this team. I think it's the first time we have seen him in the backfield so far tonight.
Now, is Andy Zimmer related to Coach Ivan Zimmer?
You know
That's
what?
something I don't know.
That's a good question. I never even put the 2 together.
Maybe Dave, did you know that? Dave doesn't know either.
Dave Miller doesn't know that? I bet Bob Petoskey knows it, Dave. Call him up.
2nd and 10 from the 44-yard line. Keurig fakes the handoff, back to pass.
Got 18 open over here.
Near side, rolls,
Not gonna get it.
and a great play by number 57 for Highland, and that's Panos Katapatis, the 6'2", 5'5" senior, rather.
Panos Katapatis. That's a fun name to say. First time we've got to say it tonight. Great play, though, keeping Keurig in check on that one.
So that takes them back down to 3rd and 14
That was
for the
Fairclough on a
Warriors.
tackle. Is what we're being told by the official scoring guys down the road here from us, down away in the box. But Fahrenkopf, a name we've called several times. Nonetheless, it was still fun to say Panos Katapatis. But it was 67, it looks like, and not 57, according to the official scores.
3rd and 14 now for the Warriors. 6:45 to go in the ball game, and the clock's running. And the whistles blow, and let's see. I think they might have took too
There's
much
the play
time.
clock. Don't see it's down to 0, and that's probably going to be the call.
Well, if that's the case, and that's what it is, 3rd and 19 face Calumet. Do they have a hook and ladder play? We've seen it used by Whiting last week.
Early, too.
Very early in the game. And I'm sure they have something in the playbook to get this kind of yardage. But, hey, I don't know if you can get much better than pitch it to Campbell and let him go.
Well, you know what? Calumet's had the ball for 4 minutes now on his drive, Jamie. 4 minutes of clock time, and they still only picked up about 20 yards on his drive. So they're going to have to find a way to pick up more yardage.
So big play here, 3rd and 19. Fake to Zimmer. Now Keurig back to pass, throws it far side field. Got his man complete. A nice pickup, but not enough as Brian Reiser got the reception near the 46-yard line.
Yes, he did. Now, you're not going to see Calumet pass too often, but, you know, when you're down with you're down 12 points with about 6.5 minutes to go, you're going to have to open up the offense a little bit. And that may be what we're starting to see right here is Calumet was able to get a receiver open in the area.
Well, if you don't have a 20-yard play in your playbook, you use 2 plays to get the 1 yard. That's probably what they did there. 4th and 8. Biggest play of the game right now. 4th and 8 from the 46 for the Warriors. Fake to Zimmer again. Keurig back to pass, throws it to Zimmer, and he's taken out of bounds, short of a first down at midfield, and that's going to be a turnover on downs. Highland will have it.
They took that right out of the Chicago Bears playbook, Jamie. It's 4th down and 8 yards to go, and you throw the ball to a receiver who ran a 3-yard route. You know, that play needed a little bit more time to develop, I think. You got to get somebody downfield. You throw it to a guy who's covered 3 yards downfield, he's probably not going to run the extra 5 for the first down.
Well, if anything, they at least got out of the territory. They're going to make Highland work a little bit, but still Highland is short field, so to speak, 50 yards.
And you know what, Jamie, in the third quarter, maybe in the first half, you can look at that. But right now, under 6 minutes to go, they really needed to do something on offense on that drive. I mean, field position, Highland still got the ball at midfield.
Siska, hand the ball up. Pennington right, straight forward, breaks out to the outside. Brian Pennington goes way down to the 27-yard line. Big pickup of 23 yards on the play.
Brian Pennington back in the lineup, and so far he's a player of the night right now for the Highland Trojans. Don't have any stats on him officially, but we'll try to get those and let you guys know where he's at. But he's just taking advantage of everything his offensive line has been able to do for him tonight.
So the Highland Trojans trying to get the first score. You see the replay is Pennington. The way he's running through the middle is just unbelievable. He's not stopping. He's a north-south runner, not east-west. That's what's getting the job done.
And on that play, he was able to bust outside. He may have had a few more yardage if he didn't slip up there.
Now Nadelberg in the backfield with Zabalski, and they give to Zabalski. He goes over for about 5-6 yards.
You know, Jamie, in another case, it looked like the quarterback, Siska, had a little trouble with the handoff there or with the snap, and yet here it is. They're able to pick up, 4 or 5 yards on a play that they have trouble with, and that's got to be frustrating for Ivan Zimmer and his team.
Well, as quick as much scoring as a timeout on the field, timeout by the official, as much scoring as we had early on in this game, we've yet to have a point scored here in the second half.
That's right.
I mean, Highland's driving, 5:20 to go, and they're driving in for the first score of the second half, and we get a final. Lowell did beat Hammond 28-7 tonight. So the Lowell Red Devils getting ready for the Griffith Panthers next week.
Yeah, that's a tune-up for him. Bob Delano's done a good job with Hammond so far, but as the season goes on, it gets tougher and tougher, and you expect Kirk Kennedy to always have his team ready.
And we were showing a score, too. Also, Lake Station on the board, 34-6. They're losing to Whitey, but still, hats off to them. Their first game this year, and they've got 6 points on the board. It took them 9 games to get a touchdown last year.
I just want to say to all those seniors, those kids out there at Lake Station who went about getting their team back, great job by those kids. They could have folded. It looked like the administration was folding on them, but they stuck with it, and they're back on a gridiron tonight, and I think that's a great thing, and I congratulate all those kids for the hard work they put in.
Oh, not to mention also, you got to credit the whole Lake Athletic Conference for sticking with them also.
You got that
keeping
right.
them on the schedule, not jumping to conclusions, and really pulling for them to go ahead and get that program going. Coach Gall of River Forest was out helping the Lake Station team a little bit, and that's great to see.
Outstanding stuff, and the conference did stick by them. Real happy about that. I'm just glad to see them. I mean, yeah, they're going to struggle, Jamie, no question about it. But it's not always about winning or losing. It's about going out there and playing. And these are high school kids, and you know what? Those seniors, they only have 3 of them on the squad, but they'll get to go out, finish their careers. And hopefully that program will turn around and keep it. Jamie, just a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken, Lake Station won a sectional.
You're exactly right. They won a sectional, and I'm not sure who they lost to. Maybe it was Judson? Yeah, it was only a couple years ago.
Right. As far as who they lost to, my memory eludes me at the time, but you never know. It's a program that could get turned around. Hopefully it will, but at least they're playing ball.
So Highland, a 2nd and 6 from the Calumet 23. Handoff, why not? Pennington straight up the middle, got some room. First down yardage. Brian Pennington right now is equaling DeMario Campbell as far, not tonight, but as far as what we were expecting DeMario Campbell to do, Brian Pennington is doing it.
You said it all. You said a mouthful right there as we look at the replay. Brian Pennington, just an outstanding job tonight for the Highland Trojans. To me, he's been the difference in the ball game, Jamie.
1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Clock ticks under 5 minutes to go in the ball game. And you have a feeling Brian Pennington may get the call again.
Big, huge defensive stand here for Calumet. If Highland punches it in, you'll see the stand start.
Well, they give it to Zach Cook. He goes forward. Zach Cook into the end zone. 3rd TD of the night for Zach Cook from 8 yards away. And Highland now running away, 25-7 lead.
Wow, I tell you what, Jamie, he ran through with some speed and power on that one as well. A couple of guys hit him up high, and that's not where you make your tackles at. He was able to bounce off that and find the end zone. But I tell you, Calumet looks really discouraged out there as we look at the replay.
And these Highland runners, Chris, are running with some authority tonight.
Well, they are, but you know what, Jamie? The Calumet defenders are going to have to get down and chop somebody at the knees. You're not going to tackle a guy at the shoulder pads.
Lewis on for the extra point. And he gets it up, and the kick is up, and no good, off to the left side. And the score remains 25-7. Now,
well, that's a 3-possession game. Forget the extra point. It's still a 3-possession game.
Now, Chris, we look ahead now to, we mentioned earlier on that our game next week will be Griffith at Lowell.
From the Inferno.
Then we go to the Battle of the Bridge, year 2001, and that will be at Munster. Of course, Highland at Munster.
Your school against my school, Perko.
And moving on to the following week, Kankakee Valley will host Andran. We get out there, out in DeMont, and let those kids get some TV exposure. I know they're not having a great year, but hopefully they'll get it up for the TV cameras, as Andran a strong team. And then we finish it off. We finish our regular season with a big one, Valparaiso hosting the Hobart Brickies.
Huge Duneland Conference matchup. Can't wait for that one. Of course, Kankakee Valley, that'll be my first trip down there. Hopefully the airports will be up and running. We'll be able to take that AT&T corporate jet down there for the ball game. As a matter of fact, get that ready. We'll take it to Lowell.
Yeah, that should be a fun game next week.
They treat us real good here. First class at AT&T all the way.
4:38 to go. Of course, Calumet needs a bunch of scores, and they need them quick. And when you're a running team, it's like you're Nebraska. It's very hard to come back from a lot of points down. Your offense is based around that you have a lead, and you're killing clock.
Well, you know what, and the fact is they haven't been able to do anything on offense. I mean, one thing if they were down 18 points and the score is 52-34, your offense is producing. You feel like you got a chance. But as it is 25-7, Calumet's done nothing on offense tonight.
And we want to reiterate that their only touchdown was a 95-yard kickoff return by Calumet, as that one takes care of any return going to the end zone. Nice kick by Lewis. But, yeah, you know, you really look at it, Highland hasn't given a point tonight.
Not defensively. No, that was a special teams touchdown. And you know what? I mean, he's DeMario Campbell. What can you say? He's going to get something. He's going to try to find a way to beat you. He did on that play. But other than that, this game has been all Highland Trojans so far.
And I'll tell you, so far, what a year this has turned out to be. First half of the season for Coach Brad Smith of Highland. I'll tell you what, you couldn't have really predicted this after last year's season. And they've come out, looks like they're going to go to 5-0. But I'll tell you what, they're going to be tested in the next 2 weeks. They've got Andran, and then they've got Munster.
Well, the schedule keeps getting tougher and tougher for most teams as you get into the season. But you know what? The best you can do after 5 weeks is be 5-0, and it looks like that's where Brad and the Trojans are headed.
Campbell in motion. DeMario with the ball. Turning the corner, goes ahead for only maybe a yard or so. Highland has, what they've done is that their defensive ends have really done a great job of keeping all the runs inside and not allowing them to get to the outside. Not to mention the corner coverage by Highland, as some of the defensive starters are coming off the field now for Highland, getting a nice hand from the crowd.
Yeah, they do, and you got some of the younger guys are checking in. John Kokot, I should say, is checked in. Also number 39, Jamie Rivas. a few other guys in there. 29 as well for the Highland Trojans. That's Ryan Zabowski.
2nd and 7 from the 23-yard line for the Warriors. Kirk, hand the ball off over the right side, and once again, nothing there. Gonna bring up 3rd down, only about a gain of 2 yards on the play.
Several Calumet Warriors unfold on the pile there as we see some more guys checking in for Highland. Number 99 is Jamin Steele. See who else we have as we see number 51, CJ Shive, and number 67 check out of the ball game. That's Billy Fahrenkopf. Good ball game for both of those guys.
3rd and 5 for the Warriors, trying to keep the drive alive, 25-7. And one would think they are going to drop from the AP ranking of number 14 after this ball game. Reverse, Campbell trying to go around the outside. He still has it. Nice running by DeMario Campbell. 1st down yardage. And
nothing going easy for Calumet tonight. They had a little trouble there with the reverse exchange, and DeMario kind of bumped into one of his own guys. It may have slowed him up a little bit. And once he did get the ball, he had all kinds of trouble gaining yardage. I mean, he did a great job to get it, but it is tough going out there for DeMario tonight.
Mark Popovich was on the tackle there first. And DeMario Campbell tonight, 14 carries, unofficially 14 carries, 35 yards.
Well, hats off to the Highland defense for
This
that.
is a guy who's averaging 10 yards a carry. Campbell with the pitch. Trying to get around the outside, and once again, the Highland defense spreads it out, gets him out to the sideline, and just simply, tackles him out of bounds.
You know, Jamie, I got to say, and I mentioned this before, I couldn't coach Pop Warner team, but I just really wonder when I look out there and I see that they're so bunched up to the line of scrimmage, it's got to be tough sometimes for their backs to have time to find a hole if there's one out there, Jamie.
Then again, it's tough for the defenses to find who's got the ball.
Well, it's been a little tougher for the offense.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree that could be part of the problem with some opponents. That has not been Highland's trouble tonight at all.
Right. Well, you figure they're number 1 in the LAC in offense. It's there for a reason. Pitch to Campbell. Trying to get some yardage, and he goes forward. He's got plenty of room, and let's see if they're going to be able to get him.
He's still on his feet.
Finally, at the 35-yard line, Highland corrals him. A number of Highland players over there on the sideline.
Brandon Fieldhouse being one of them. Let's see who else was in there. Number 42, Tony Gutierrez got a hand in there as well. So did number 29, Ryan Zabowski.
So DeMario Campbell working on his stats, trying to not make it look that bad, but I'm sure that's the last thing he's thinking about. Right now, he just wants to get Calumet on the board, as offensively, except for a special teams touchdown, it has been nothing but goose eggs for the Calumet Warriors. Clock ticks down under a minute and a half to go.
Yep, another ball game almost over here, Jamie. And again, really impressed with the Highland team. Of course, never a surprise that the Brad Smith team is coached very well. And we've seen that tonight for sure.
Inside handoff. And Jasinski once again, I
Was
believe.
that Jasinski out there? I couldn't make it out. We see one of the Calumet players leaning over in the huddle.
And brings up 2nd down. 2nd and 6. The Calumet Warriors trying to beat the clock. I'll tell you what, clock ticks down to 52 seconds to go, and they're going to have to hurry.
Well, why they're not running a 2-minute offense, I don't know. I mean, why not try to get some points on the board here?
Fake Kirk, back to throw. Being chased, and finally goes forward for a 1st down, it looks like. Chasing him all the way, Jamin Steele, offensive lineman.
Jamin Steele.
25 seconds at Calumet. Let's see if they get a...
They're huddling up.
3rd down and 1, and you can hear the Highland crowd coming to their feet.
The sense of urgency hasn't come to Calumet yet for some reason.
Clock ticks down under 10 seconds.
You know, granted, they're not going to win the ball game, but why not work on that 2-minute drill?
Kirk back to pass. Throws it down.